Today we have Jake Hansen with us. He is an insurance expert. He specializes in commercial insurance for home service contractors, very similar to us. He has niched down and he provides insurance policies for them. And I wanted to have him on there to kind of provide you guys with some value on your insurance policies. You're going into homes. You have to have some kind of insurance on your business. So Jake's going to kind of shed some light on some tips on how to make sure that you're getting the most out of your insurance. So, Jake, I know today you wanted to really talk about the importance of a policy review. Kind of tell me what is a policy review for those that may not even know.
Yeah, great question, Mario, and thanks for having me. There's a couple of things when it comes to insurance that you have to be aware of when you're looking at your policies, and it's an insurance agent's job to kind of advise you on how that works. You shouldn't take it upon yourself to know everything about insurance, and you're never going to. I still don't know everything about insurance. So a policy review at its core is just looking at the pieces of the policy when it comes to coverage and data and also the price. Right? We want to make sure that all those are in line with what you're looking at. You can have a really solid policy with not all the right pieces in place, and the price could be out of whack, or the price could be super great, but it's not doing the right things. So we really want to make sure that everything is doing the right thing at the right price, the right way, because if you need to use it, that's what we write insurance policies for. We don't write it like it's a bill you have to pay. We write it like we're going to use this someday.
Now, it brought up a question as you were talking. So let's say that you're going about your business. What are some things that could possibly change within the business to where they need to update their insurance policy, whether they add on a different service? Because in my mind, I'm thinking immediately, if you're a landscaping company, and then all of a sudden you want to start doing Christmas lights, because it's wintertime and you're trying to get some revenue in. So kind of talk to me a little bit about, what could change in someone's business where they would have to update their policy or they really need this review.
Yeah, it's a great question. And when it comes to that, you're looking at, your seasonal businesses. Every business has seasons, right? Even insurance. But a specifically seasonal business like Christmas lights, landscaping, there's going to need to be a conversation with your insurance agent about that. Because if you have a landscaping policy and now you're on top of someone's roof hanging up Christmas lights, that's not what the insurance company thinks you're doing. So if someone falls off a roof and hurts themselves, we're not rating the policy for that. So if you're in the same type of business, like, hey, we do landscaping and now we're going to add irrigation, that's probably just an endorsement to your policy. Talk to your agent, they can probably add some coverage for you. If we're doing something like Christmas tree lights, or now you want to start doing, automobile repairs, things like that, that might be a different policy. Some insurance carriers will allow you to have multiple business uses on your policy. But typically those policies are pretty expensive because we're covering so many different facets of your business, which comes with a lot of legal implications where someone could sue you for lots of different business things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Always thinking about the big numbers, right? We're not worried about the deductible. We're not worried about repairing someone's house. We're worried about a lawsuit that's going to be $500,000. That's what we're really worried about.
So it seems to me, because I do online marketing, it seems like it would be good branding and marketing for a company to show that they're insured.
Absolutely.
Because I'm sure there's a lot of businesses going out there with a magnet on their truck. They show up, and then they're not insured. So tell me, some negatives on being underinsured. So when you go, what are some negative aspects of not getting this policy? What do you call it? The update, the review. The review.
Yeah, one of the things that I've actually experienced myself is my dad actually also used to own a landscaping company, and whenever I was younger, I also had a little business that I did on the side, and I could never really get any clients that were what I would consider large at that time because they wanted me to have insurance, and just being a kid with a lawnmower in the back of my truck, that was not something I was going to do, right? But everyone that's listening right now has seen on the side of some truck somewhere, bonded and insured, right? You know what those words are. What that means is that they have an insurance policy for their business, and they have a bond that is going to pay for any damages that they might cause that their insurance doesn't pay for, that they don't want to personally pay for. So there's two different ways where a homeowner could be covered by that bonded and insured agreement that they have. I have seen, though, some of those trucks, and I actually get to look at their insurance, and they don't have the right insurance, and the bond that they have isn't really right. It's just the cheap one. So the words bonded and insured don't really guarantee anything. But having a solid insurance package in place is a real big appeal if you're looking for big accounts. One of my clients is trying to go after, he's a landscaper, trying to go after apartment complexes, property managers, That's something that's a big target for him, and we actually had to increase his insurance limits pretty drastically to meet the requirements of some of these national carriers, right? So he has a $5 million umbrella policy, not something he would normally have to have, but he wants to do business with this 100 multi-unit family property. So it was worth it for him to spend the extra few $100 a year to make a few $100 a day.
Yeah, it sounds like the
differences.
better your insurance, the better customers that you can attract,
Oh, yeah.
especially if you're doing large swimming pools or build outs and general contracting.
Absolutely. Just
Yeah.
imagine trying to do business with Mario Wilson compared to Jerry Jones, right?
Right.
I actually have some clients that are vendors for Jerry, and whenever they go to the AT&T Stadium, they have some big insurance requirements, and it's a long process to get vetted through their vendor compliance, and I have a relationship with those compliance people now after multiple years, so whenever I have a client that's looking for that, I connect them there. But at the end of the day, you're not going to get big money from big corporate accounts without big insurance. They have liabilities that they want to protect, and whatever they're spending on your service is peanuts compared to a lawsuit coming from someone that gets hurt.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I'm glad you covered that. Tell me what you go over in this policy review with your client.
Yeah, 3 basic parts. So coverage on the policy, and then we also have the data behind that, and then also the price. So coverage on the policy, things like liability limits. You all have heard of general liability, you know about workers' compensation, what do those policies do, how much money is the insurance company willing to pay. That's what a limit is on the policy. That's where the company stops. They will stop paying. They won't just pay for everything.
Yeah.
Also, you have your deductible. What is your contribution to a claim? If you're commercial auto, you have a box truck that gets totaled in an accident, what's it cost you to get that fixed? You have to pay something to file a claim, right? You have to pay a deductible whenever there's a repair cost. Then we also have the data on the policy, and I see a lot of errors on a lot of policies. I mean, just to give you a ballpark number, like 99% of policies are wrong in some way.
Wow.
It's usually incorrectness on the revenue that they reported because the agent didn't ask the right question, or maybe the client was thinking, if I tell the agent my revenue is a little bit lower, my price is a little bit lower, so I can spend a little bit less. But going through the data on the policy is super important. I mean, I've seen people that have the wrong business address, and if they have a claim at their office where they actually operate out of, they don't have any coverage because that's not what's on their policy, right? The third thing here again is pricing, right? If you have a solid policy, all the data is correct, and the pricing is just out of whack, maybe there's another carrier that might have a similar policy with similar benefits, but you get a much better price. Or sometimes I just have to tell people, you're getting the best deal. It's not getting any cheaper than this, right? And also, we have some problems we need to fix too, so it actually might cost more to do that. So the point of the policy review is just data analysis, right? Is everything correct? If not, how do we fix it? And then what's the solution going forward from there? Do I just need to send you back to your agent and have them fix it? Or can I provide something that's a lot better, maybe a lot cheaper, or hopefully a little bit of both? Okay. So 3 parts of that policy review are super important in and of themselves, but at the end of the day, it comes down to the relationship that you have with the agent, and I'd be willing to bet that most people that are listening right now have never had their agent ask them about a policy review. If they called their agent for a policy review, they might actually be surprised.
Yeah. Well, that definitely separates you, from the best of the years that I've known you, is that you do a great job of really taking care of your client base, and that's how you get more, because they tell other people how great you are. Mm-hmm. Tell me this, do you have to meet with them in person? Is it something that they send you, their policy? How does that work?
A couple different ways. What I love to do, especially with big commercial accounts, if we're looking at insuring someone's $1 million building or a fleet of trucks or a group of 30 employees, I want to go meet with them. I want to go to your shop. I want to see your business operation, and I'm never going to get as much information about you on Google or on Facebook, even if you have an awesome marketing team, as I would going behind the scenes, meeting your guys, shaking their hand, talking about business, what's going on.
Right.
Also, whenever I do that, I'm gathering more information to tell my underwriters, because a lot of people think insurance is just a computer system, and that's usually the case on personal policies. But with farmers, I have a direct relationship with one underwriter at the farmer's company I work with on all my submissions. Her name's Alicia. She's fantastic. So whenever I sell the story to Alicia, I get to tell them about your business history, how long you've been in town, the community service that you do, your employees that you have. Bobby just had a daughter, those kinds of things.
Right.
I'm selling the story to the underwriter, making them feel warm and fuzzy about your business. So they want to give you all the maximum discounts. They want to give you the best coverage. So that's what we're doing. We're selling you to the company. You think that you're selling them, it's the other way around. So we want to make sure that we're telling the best story. Meeting at your location is always best. That being said, I just need a copy of your actual policy to do the analysis, and we can get on the phone call, we can do a Zoom, we could meet for coffee. It doesn't really matter how we do the review. But going and meeting someone at their location, kind of like what you do, doing on-site video shoots,
Right.
that's really where you get the best content for your business. That's where you get the best results for your insurance.
I love that. I love that. Tell me, how often should they be getting their policy reviewed?
Annually,
Okay.
at least. I have some accounts that we do semi-annual and also quarterly reviews.
Okay.
One that I'm thinking of right now has some pretty wild variations in revenue for the year. Some years it's awesome and some years it's slow, just depending on what's going on. So insurance policies are partly rated based on the revenue that you bring in.
Okay.
Right? How many dollars come in the front door tells the insurance company how many people are in the front door. How many jobs do you do? Right? How many miles are you driving? That kind of thing. Right? So if you tell us you're going to estimate, $100,000 in revenue, and all of a sudden it's $1 million, there's going to be a difference there. I'd rather catch that 3 months into the policy rather than you getting a bill after 12 months. Let's go ahead and adjust that midterm. So new businesses, we do quarterly reviews for the first year, no matter what. I'm going to call you every 3 months and we're going to talk. Sorry if you don't want my time.
Gotcha.
Businesses that have been around for a couple of years, let's just look at it every 6 months to make sure we're on track with our estimates. If you've been in business for 20 years, rocking and rolling, you know what your revenue looks like, we're going to do an annual review just to make sure nothing drastic has changed. But it really depends on where you're at in your business and just how much attention that it needs. A new business needs a lot of tender glove and care, right? It takes a lot of effort to get that going. And what I don't want is just to cause a problem at the end of the year because we didn't try.
I love it. All right, last question, Jake. So I know you represent Farmers Insurance. Does a business owner for a home service business have to be with Farmers, or can they be with anyone for you to review their policy?
That's a great question. We review all policies from all carriers. One of the things I actually specialize in, my hobby, if you will, because I'm an insurance nerd, is policy reviews and contract language specifically. So whenever I'm reviewing your traveler's policy and they have all this verbiage in there about what the policy is going to do and how much they pay for and what that $1 million limit really means, I can break that down into bite-sized chunks that you will understand because you don't need to read the 87 legal words that come down to, we're not going to cover marring. Right? But one of the things that we do also at the Hansen agency is we represent farmers, you're correct, but we own a brokerage that has access to 100 different insurance companies. Sometimes Farmers doesn't want the business. If you've got a dynamite factory, it's not for Farmers.
Right.
Farmers is looking for those home service contractors. But if we have something like that dynamite factory, I have a company that can do that. So I have appointments with other carriers too, so I really don't ever have to tell anyone no. Let's review what you've got, and if it's working right, leave it where it's at.
Right.
Maybe make a couple of changes. But if I find something better for you with these hundreds of contacts that I've got, let's take a look at that option for you too.
I love that. And I've always appreciated your integrity over the years. If it's not a fit, it's not a fit. Keep doing what you're doing.
Exactly.
I lied. This is actually the final question. So for the home service contractor out there who's thinking, oh my goodness, I haven't had my policy reviewed in years and I'm kind of freaking out about it. Yeah. How do they get a hold of you for the policy review? What's your contact info?
One simple thing. All you have to remember is iknowdean.com.
Love it.
Our agency is called the Dean Hansen Insurance Agency. My father Dean owns it along with my mother, and we've been around here for Allen for 15 years. Go to iknowdean.com. All our contact information is there. Of course, you can find me on social media as well. Just look for Jake Hansen Farmers Insurance. But reach out to us, man. Give me a phone call, shoot me an email, something like that. Let's see how we can help you out. Incredible.
Well, thank you, Jake, for being on the show. Again, this is a podcast designed for home service contractors. We really want to give you any kind of value to help you grow your business and grow your team. So please reach out to Jake for that policy review, and we'll catch you on the next episode.